right.
Back. There he is again.
I'm
Morning.
not cocked cock. I'm going Texans. My background's fucked. Quick story about my background. I have now been on 2 work Zoom calls with clients, and my First and Zen pod pops up behind me. And I just totally forget that whenever we're recording and that pops up, oh fuck. Just change it real quick. And it usually, honestly, might be a great little tactic. Leads to a great story about how me and my buddies are, you know, destroying our lives with fantasy football and our well-being with our families because we're just that dedicated to the game.
I was gonna say, do we potentially add a few listeners every time that happens? Are we
I,
getting our numbers
I
up? I
do.
saw our last video, I think did 21 views. We only got 12 members, so somebody else out there is watching it.
Or they're
Or
just, or you know what?
you
They're
guys
just,
watching it twice.
there is one player in our league, which we'll get to, that seems to really be influenced by what we're
Yes,
saying
yeah,
on the pod.
yes.
And so much so that I think he made a roster decision that got him Schmig of the week because he listened to us. So maybe don't listen to us, or yes, continue to listen to us because it's to your detriment. But on the flip side, the same player did also get Tiger Vision. Again, we'll get to that here a little bit in the pod.
Our
Uh,
voice has over here. We are becoming the mainstream media, and we appreciate you guys tuning in. We're going on what week 5 this week. Last night, a firework game. This is Friday morning that we're filming this firework game last night. Kirk Cousins looking like the Kirk of old. I think he threw a little. You like that after the game? Threw for 500 yards.
what's that
Remember,
fucking
I
song?
remember after week 1, we were talking about Atlanta's offense. We're like, man, he can't even really play it off the foot. There's not a lot of juice there. And then last night, you're like, okay, this is what we envisioned and probably
Yep.
what they envisioned. We're like, we got talent everywhere. Darnell Mooney looking like Julio Jones. We just got talent across the board. And I mean, just a hell of a game. Finally, we got a good primetime game.
I I want to in another league. It's a deeper league. It's a 14 team league. I have Jalen Hurts on a bye, and I'm like scouring the waiver wire. Everyone has 2 quarterbacks in this league for some reason, and they pocket it. I'm like, fuck, I got to roll out Kirk Cousins this week, and so that's why I picked up. I'm like, let's fucking go. I'm at the Fort Bend County Fair jamming out to fucking country singer out there, and I see Kirk has a 5 spot up there. Just let's
Yeah.
fucking go, dude.
I had that same exact situation in another league and ended up picking Deshaun Watson. And pretty disappointed about it. Now, Deshaun hasn't played yet, but I'm pretty sure he's not going to throw for 500.
It hurts a little more, but whenever that happens, but like you got to wait for the other guy to play. Yeah. So I think again, it's gonna be interesting. This is where your teams are truly going to be tested, and I think where Tegan and I last week are getting into the buying or selling situation is because now your bench becomes a role. This is where
Dude,
fantasy football teams are made in the trenches when you don't have your starter out there, whether that's because he's injured or whether because it's buys, who you rolling out. And
yeah.
Dylan, I'll tell you this: you're fucking T and I are talking. You're playing a little DFS with regular fantasy football right now. Is you're just fucking rotate, shuffle the deck here, pick up a new guy here, throw a guy under the bus there. I mean, whatever you got to do. If it works, fucking kudos to you. That's what managers do. They manage.
Yeah, and especially honestly, so this year, I don't know the statistics behind it, but it feels like the injury choo-choo train is about as big as it's ever been. I
Right.
mean, there's most of our owners are going through it right now. There's a few people that have remained clean. My pops being one of them, probably part of the 3-1 record. He's kind of fallen into some luck with the injury train. But when you talk about injuries and buys, and we're only the 5-man bench, like it really adds a kind of a fun dynamic
It
because you got to
does.
man. You can't just sit on that one extra roster spot. Seems to be pretty big in my opinion.
It's huge. I've had no bullshit at least 5 times where I'm taking a shit at work and I'm going back and forth on a guy, like whether it's a waiver or whether it's like who do like whatever it is. Like I was sitting, I finished a meeting in our conference room, and I had like the dude I was working with, he was taking notes, and he left, and so I just stayed in there, and he had I thought I feel like I was working. I stayed in there for another 20 minutes deciding between if I'm picking up Antonio Gibson or Alexander Madison this week to be my to be my starting running back. I went with Madison. It looks like Dylan picked up Gibson. I couldn't fucking decide. There's a whole decision on
Hope it worked out for you.
changing of the guard for the running back at both situations. Vegas with Zamir White, Ramondre with the fumble issues. It's fucking tough, dude. It is like so tough. Like it is brutal, and I love it. I think it was a great
Fun,
move
man.
by
That's a
team.
good
You
dynamic.
made a lot of shitty moves, and all around, I think you get a solid C minus as the overall
I
leader
crushed it.
leader of this train. But that was a great move.
Devontae Williams, thank you for sending me over. He just got 16 carries last week. I think he's due for a little breakout game against Vegas at home. To Javonte Williams, when he puts up 16, I can't wait to come on this pod next week and talk shit to you.
Honestly, that was another one that really fucking hurt to do. I was actually gonna pick him up this week, thinking like, oh, surely no one's gonna blow a waiver on Devontae
Bring him
Williams.
over here.
And fucking, I woke up, set an alarm. This is how dedicated I am. Set an alarm at 3 a.m. in the morning to scour the waiver wire so I could pick up anyone that slipped through the cracks, which is when I picked up Alexander Madison. And Kinsey rolls over like, "What the fuck are you doing? Are you still up?" I'm like, "I gotta pick some guys up on waivers." And you picked up Javonte. Fuck you. I mean, honestly, I didn't want to.
Dontavian Wicks. Dontavian Wicks is Devontae Adams 2.0, making the claim right now.
Well, so you're telling me they have a Devontae Adams and a Debo-esque, because that's what everyone compares Jada Reed to, is Debo.
Yeah, Wisconsin Debo, and we have Devontae out wide. I mean, it's gonna be hell for opposing defensive backs for years to come. Devontae Wicks is a absolute stud. There's a stat that whenever he plays more than 70% of snaps, so basically whenever Watson gets hurt, which inevitably happens, he averages over 15 points a game. Never scored less than 15 points. Never scored less than 15 points. And so I used a waiver claim. I was high up there. I had the 4 spot, and I was like, you know what? I'm 3-1, but I don't feel comfortable right now. I got
double wavered up. You double wavered up. I fucking hate I do that.
A double waiver. A double waiver.
It's a great strategy for all those, more so Max, who's new to this game. This is a little insider trading. If you're gonna use a waiver and you're higher up, what you do is you double waiver up rather than wait for someone to slip through the cracks, because you're already going to go to the bottom once that waiver clears. So like, fuck it, I'm already at the bottom. Double waiver up. Good move, team. Well played. Because I was there, 3 a.m. I was there. Devontae Williams was there, cleared waivers. He was done for it. It was mine again.
It wasn't happening.
It was a tough decision. I forgot why I had to drop him. I didn't want to drop him, but again, just goes back to show like I didn't want to lose him. But it just, you got to do
bench. You got to make moves.
But and to get to that, while we're on, making tough decisions, and whether that be on waiver or not, Terry Max, we kind of have a little bit of a shtick going on here, and people are starting to murmur amongst the Zen community. I was at work the other day, again taking a routine shit, probably post Zen and coffee, and I get a trade offer in my inbox, and it was. I actually took a screenshot of it. I meant to send this back to you and tell them you could shove it up your ass, because it was pretty pitiful and whatever the hell it was. Hold on, it was Rashad White, RB 35, straight up for J.K. Dobbins. Yeah, fuck you guys. Let's be a little realistic. If you want to throw that trash somewhere to us, I understand, like, hey, throw a line in the water, see if you can get a little bite here. You never know what you might get, but it sounds like this has happened to Tegan. It sounded like this has happened to Johnny K. I mean, you guys, people are starting to say you guys are an embarrassment, and there's no reason you should be where you are.
Across the board, he's offering 1-for-1 trades with much lesser players. I think Little Max is maybe deploying one of 2 strategies. Strategy 1 is somebody accidentally just clicks accept, which kind of a good strategy. I believe Caleb used to do that quite a bit. To me,
Tanner's a good candidate. There's a prop bet right now, and it's pretty great if you want to jump in on that Tanner will be an accident.
I can see Tanner doing it, kind of like jumping up after he does it, like when he almost misses a putt. So I can see him buying into that. And then option 2. Kind of a Chinese torture tactic where you just drop the water on the forehead constantly, 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 constantly. And eventually you say, you know what? Fuck it, I'll trade you.
Okay, I don't. Something happened
I
within
can't
my
do this
frontal.
anymore. I can't
Something
do
happened
this
within
anymore.
my frontal lobe. Like, just make it stop. Like, I'll fucking
Yeah.
like, just shoot me in the head just to make it stop.
So maybe he's playing chess out here. It's actually it's a wonderfully deployed strategy, and I think if he rides it out long enough, the torture tactic always works. They always give in. So he might end up with the most stacked roster in the league by week 10. Who knows?
Well, they're gonna face some. They're facing an uphill battle, as we've kind of discussed. We were selling on them last time we discussed. And like I said, this is a week when it's going to be tough with roster decisions in terms of you got guys on bye. Tegan was talking about this week where he'd be surprised. He wouldn't be surprised if 80 point wins the week between him and Dylan. That it's just so thin of a margin. But we'll chat all day on this. But let's get into quickly Schmig of the week. And as I was getting to earlier, very much so swayed by us. We have a lot of sway. People like us. People are starting to murmur out there that this is one of the most influential podcasts in the business.
Huge.
It's huge. It's absolutely huge. John Kaiser actually came up to me the other day. He's like, "You guys are doing something great. You guys are very influential, and you're doing great stuff." And what happened was Dylan. Let me pull him up wherever the hell he is here. Hold on, let me get you the actual numbers. What is your name? Heart 8. Which, by the way, I was almost Dylan's daddy in both leagues. I almost beat him, but I'm an idiot and didn't start a key player on my team in the other league. So Dylan bench DeAndre Swift, who went for 26 points. And this was partly because, well, whether he says it or not, it was us. We influenced you.
We discussed it heavily on the pod.
It was heavily discussed. I think it was
the Roschon Johnson murmurs.
Roschon Johnson murmurs. I think it was last week that they played. Was it last week or 2 weeks they played the Colts?
2
And
weeks ago.
okay, so that was like the initial drill.
No, it was the week before last week. Yeah, so that it was coming off the Colts game where you're like, oh, we love.
I loved him. I played him in
defense. DraftKings, fire him up, lost a lot of money. And so like, oh, Roschon Johnson might be the guy going forward.
The guy could be the
we
guy.
Talked in here, we talked shop here, we talked about D Swift. They happen to just pay him quite a lot of money. They're not just gonna bench him after 3 games.
Yep.
Dylan bought into the narrative. Completely bought into the narrative, got brainwashed, dropped him, and dropped him to the bench and started Singletary, what? How you said he had 4 points?
Singletary, 4.3.
4.3, and Swift had the game,
26.
maybe a
26
entire season for the Bears. Like that might be his high point for the whole season, but hell of a game. I bet if I'm a betting man, I bet he's in Dylan's starting lineup this week.
He is 100%. He is in the starting lineup. But also to give you your flowers, we thought it was a great move picking up Ladd McConkey, who 67 yards and a touch, so nothing to write home about, but just dang solid start. And that was a good one there to pick up. So we'll give you flowers where flowers are due there.
You need it's like the participation trophy when you haven't won a game yet, and we give you Schmig of the week.
Hey,
we're a charitable organization over here at First Is In, and we like to give back to the community. And by giving you a nice Tiger Vision, maybe put that on the fire mantle. And that's something at the end of the year probably going to be your only accolade. Yep. So it's something that I think that you could write home about. Maybe tell Kaylee, tell Crew, tell your son Crew. Say, hey, it didn't work out this year.
We tried.
I got a Tiger Vision. That's something.
I'd say I didn't give up, son. I didn't.
Yeah, I did. This is actually I did this as an example for you of how to not give up and how to rise out of the ashes, fight through adversity. Maybe he just loses every game to kind of prove a point that losing happens in life, and you got to come back.
Moment, Dylan. Great teaching moment.
Great teaching moment. Maybe keep it up, bud. You're doing God's work. I see what you're doing here, and we appreciate it.
Hey, if there's also a 1-800 number, like if you're ever in the thought process, if you need to call someone or talk through something, a couple of our sponsors, 1-800, don't pull the trigger. Like it's a surreal thing. It's a real thing. We want to make sure we're here for you. This is tough times, not having a win going into week 5. So we're here for you. Let's talk about it.
And he
Help
got
us help
axed from the
you.
guillotine. He got axed from the guillotine this week too. So it's
Yeah.
just
That's what I
we're gonna
said.
make
I almost had the triple threat. I would have beat him in the dynasty league, but I'm in too many leagues and I didn't start Debo. I literally just didn't see him in my lineup, but that would have been the deciding factor in that. I lost by like 6 points.
So we'll just look at the matchups or we're looking back, but I just want to throw one fun fact out. I didn't do my whole list of fun facts like I did last
Yep.
week.
I have one. I got one.
But my only fun fact, and I think I actually sent you one on Twitter, but the fun fact that I thought was very interesting. So Bo Nix threw for 60 yards last game, 6-0. And Cortland Sutton had 60 receiving yards last game. So Cortland Sutton and Bo Nix's passing and receiving total were the same. At one point in the game, Bo Nix actually had 56 passing yards and Cortland Sutton had 60 receiving yards because he threw several negative passes. I mean, my God, and they still won the game. That is just wild.
Yeah, that's the whole reason too. You can have Javonte Williams because I don't like.
Their defense is good though. They're going to stay in every game.
They're deep. I picked them up this week to play. Their number. I just saw the stat. Okay. Here's actually I just saw this. I was watching it. The Broncos rush 5 more than anyone in the league. So they're blitzing, and I think it said 35% of the time they're playing cover 1. So like not only are they blitzing, but they're manned up across the board with a single high safety. And they like talk about usually when people are blitzing, they're keeping cover 2 where you just 2 high safety over top and still blitzing, but that way you can have, the deep. But they just feel that comfortable because Pat Surtain is that man. Like if you've seen stats on him, on all the guys he's just put in the fucking lockdown chamber, I mean, it's a real defense. It's the only reason they are where they are.
Yeah, I would agree. All right, what's your fun fact?
Yeah, fun fact is I lost the actual number, but I do know that Jaden Daniels now has, I believe it's more touchdown passes than he does incompletions. Is that correct?
It's more scoring drives. So his scoring drives I've led to scoring more than he has incompletions.
Yep.
Which is just an absolutely wild statistic.
Absolutely.
After 4 weeks. That's insane. He's the real deal, man.
He is the talk of the town. He is Stroud 2.0. There's a curse on the number 1 overall pick. Number 2 overall pick is just fucking knock it out of the park. Future dynasty type player that you're gonna, stake the flag on. They're a fun team, man. It's cool. I want Washington to be relevant. I want them to also bring back the Redskins. That's another topic, but it's just it's like a known franchise that, it's been around for a long time. It's been scrappy a couple times in there, but they're in the fun division. That's a fun division in the NFC North where you just
have a lot of history there.
Yeah. It's a good division. So it's just good for football. Just shake it up a little bit. Shake it up. Cowboys are shitty. Eagles are having offensive woes. Giants are just the Giants shitty. So, here we go. Come on,
weird year, man. It's a weird year. This year just doesn't make sense. It's impossible to figure out anything. If you happen to dabble in a little betting, just don't. Just don't. Stay on the sideline. It's not worth it. Nothing makes sense. Nothing is as it seems. Right when you think you got it figured out, you don't. So just stay away. Just stay away. That's my recommendation. I'm going to go into semi-retirement for the time being. But
tough out there.
It's been a weird year, man. It's just been a really weird year. A lot of injuries, a lot of teams from week to week looking like duds to complete stars. It's tough. It's tough out here, man.
It's brutal. Let's wrap this thing up because we do got to get to work here. Let's just do a quick rundown of the standings. I'll share my screen, and then we'll do a super just blitzkrieg of upcoming week. We'll kind of pass on the previous week. So without further ado, here is your current standings as it sits today. Bruiser up top, which again, I just talked to Tegan about how disgusted I am when I look at his team. Jordan Mason, goddamn, how much better he would look in Kraken blue. But unfortunately, I'm an idiot. That's on me. Team Brewers at the top. Green Jackets, I do like his team. I do like his team. He's got a lot of depth at running back, which is super important for a long-term success because we know running back becomes a dumpster fire at some point. Trumpster, we see them just dropping like a bomb, baby. That's why Max is hitting that phone call, man. He's calling everyone. He's calling
Panicking.
people's dogs. The homeless guy on the side of the road trying to get a trade because they know they're in for a rough ride with bye weeks coming up. Teagan, I mean, look at the points here. The guy's got 350. I have more points than Teagan. I'm in ninth. This is bullshit. This is bullshit.
As we rule with an iron fist, we are socialist, communist, and we spread the wealth throughout the lands. So I don't want to score too many points. It would be kind of greedy of me. I would like to just barely win all my games. Again, this week I'm aiming for 81 points, and I think that gets the job done.
Yeah, 4-1 with fucking like 3 weeks with 80 points or less. It's fucking sickening. Golden Nuts, I actually like his team. I'm going up against him this week.
He's on the rise, man. We talked about Bai last week.
Yeah.
He kicked my ass this last week, but he's on the rise.
He has a great start. I've started Baker, which sounds great, but when 2 of those touchdowns go to the other side and Mike Evans, you don't feel as good about it. Chris Godwin, so game, nothing to write home about. And Bijan Robinson we'll get into. I'm getting really frustrated. My first overall pick is just guy can't even eclipse 10 points on a regular basis. That's pretty frustrating. Boss Hog here at 2-2. Like the team. Looks like, again, we went through that a little bit. He's in the mix, but I think we were buying on him. Nave Especial dropping 4 or 3 spots here with a loss. Battle Bears coming in there at 400. Kraken, the leader of the 1 and 3s. Schmigs Rex. Again, his team is just a sinking ship. Sosei finally starting to play Jaden Daniels. Who knows? Maybe they start to come back. Again, we talked about them buying above their current spot. And Hard 8 sitting right where he needs to be, right at the bottom.
Right where he needs to be. I got a good feeling that's going to say 0-5 next week, Bob.
Yeah, I'm a bet man, and I would tend to agree with you on that. Let's go to a game preview. So this is me and Golden Nuts, which I don't love this number here as an 89. 41 points.
That's not good. That's not
41
good.
points after 3 players playing. I don't feel great about it. I love this stat line. I started Baker over Anthony Richardson. That was actually a tough decision. Anthony Richardson's playing the worst pass defense in the league in the Jacksonville Jaguars. I don't like the abdominal strain, which they come out. It's not a hit pointer. So I didn't want to risk, benching a guy for a guy that might play, even though it is a great matchup. Bijan, what the fuck, dude? Like, just fall into the end zone and I can get with this stat line, dude. Like, they don't like goal line runs. They have to score from 45 yards out with whoever the fuck that guy. What was that guy's name who scored the last touchdown? I don't even know who that is.
Oh yeah, Cambrell Hodge.
I don't know who that is. I have no idea who that is. Never known that guy. Trey McBride, we got back this week. That's a great boost for us. It's rolling out that strong Broncos D, baby. Then over here, Mike Evans, great start, 20 points, 2 tutties. Brian Thomas, see what the Rook can do. Diggs is out there, revenge game against Buffalo. Really looking forward to that game.
Yeah, I got Braxton minus 150 in this game. He's a clear favorite.
Okay, all right, well, okay. Really appreciate the honesty there. Looking like Tanner's a favorite by the projections, which we all know mean dog shit.
Darnell Mooney scoring 29 and him starting him.
That is
early candidate for Tiger Vision of the week.
That's an early candidate. I mean, that is not that he really. I mean, I guess Braylon out. Yeah, I like it. That's a ballsy move. Because Darnell Mooney, I think if you look in here, he's probably had a dud or two and 7 and 2.
Yeah, but he's getting looks.
He's getting targets. He's getting targets.
Yeah, he's getting looks.
Rolling out Dalton Schultz, Xavier Worthy, but Travis Etienne's a little worrisome. I think he's banged up. Plus, Bigsby's has looked pretty good this year. Allen against Houston, I think, is going to rock us. I'm not very excited.
Yeah.
I think I'm really worried.
I got him scoring 30+ points, honestly.
Yeah, I'm not stoked about that matchup. rolling out Kareem Hunt with some
Kareem Hunt
conviction,
at the flex. We
some
love it.
conviction that he's gonna be the guy, baby. Look at us. We got some bye weeks.
Maybe throw Jeremy McNichols in there, Chris. Maybe throw a little.
He just picked him up, so maybe he hasn't had a time to shift him in. But Jeremy McNichols could be the guy there in Washington to slip in.
Yeah,
Who
little
knows?
extra roll.
Swapping over here to Bruiser and Sose, another lower scoring band. It looks like old Caleb is rolling with Justin Fields, who's looked good this year. Fun fact. Here's another fun fact. Patrick Mahomes has not eclipsed, I believe it's quarterback 10, or maybe it was 7 since last year. It's been a whole year since Patrick Mahomes. I have to go look at a stat because I don't want to fuck it up and sound retarded. But it's something like that. It's like he hasn't eclipsed quarterback 7 or quarterback 10 in one week since
we talked about that. We talked about that last week. I think he's only had like 4 games over 20 points in the last 18 games. It's something crazy. That's just not the offense they run. But man, if you would have told me a little backfield of Fields, Hubbard, and Jordan Mason was your 4-0 team of the league, I would have told you get the hell out of here.
Yeah, this combo right here makes me sick. I should have this guy and this guy on my team. My issue is I fucked up.
Active on the waiver wire. This shows you right here. All you need to
wins.
see.
Neither of these guys. Well, Hubbard, I think
They're both free agents at one point.
Yeah,
that's all that matters.
Yep. So if you say it doesn't matter, it matters. Devon Achane dumpster fire with what's going on in Miami. They need to have Tua back. Jaden Daniels looking like an absolute stud. Bucky Irving, 5.6 points, not what you're looking for, and what they were talking about was more of a split with Rachaad White. I don't think it was truly a 50-50 split. It might have been more 70-30, 60-40 with Rachaad White. Terry McLaurin getting back on track with Jaden Daniels, Marvin Harrison. I like Tucker Kraft. I do like Tucker Kraft.
He's a good player.
God, if someone doesn't roll out with a Kraft singles cheesehead, that would be legendary. If you roll out a Kraft singles cheesehead for Tucker Kraft,
there's probably one out there in the stadium. We'll be seeing in a couple weeks. We'll see in a couple weeks over there.
Have you seen the Philadelphia cream cheeseheads? Those are great, dude.
Fantastic. Great play.
Should be an interesting matchup there. It's close. Nave versus.
Let's go, Nave.
Let's go, Nave. Start Nave with Drake London. We need this win. Not that we have thousands of dollars on it, but we need this win. And Rachaad White coming out with the pedestrian type day. Kyle Pitts, pretty solid for tight ends.
Solid.
That might honestly finish as tight end 1 the way.
Yeah, it really might.
For week 5, that might be a tight end 1 type play.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going Nave here. Let's go Nave.
Yeah, we're going Nave minus 220. Nave minus 220. Freiermuth hat trick game. Maybe a little 3-tutty game for Freiermuth.
I love me some Pat. He had a great rookie year when I picked him up. Oh
yeah, here's every matchup. I told you, 80 gets the job done.
Let's look at this barn burner here. You got Josh Downs rolling out, DeAndre Swift, as we talked about, back in the lineup. Oh my gosh, God, he does have a lot of bye weeks. That's rough.
He's rolling out Deshaun too.
You know, honestly, I kind of would rather have just burn 1 week down, just get all the buys out of the way. I'll take the L, or maybe slip in and be competitive, but you kind of want it that way. Over here, Kamish showing out Kyler, who's I think he's due for a bounce back game. I actually do think that was tough last week.
I hope San Fran gets up like 21-0 to start the game, and Kyler just slinging it around, some nice cheap garbage points.
Yeah. Oh, these two guys, a lot of talent here, but I don't know quarterback issues here, and we'll see if your stat here line is true. Let's just go into some of the numbers here. I mean, how does that happen? How does that even happen?
He's a stud, dude.
I haven't watched enough of him. I need to watch some.
His get off the line of scrimmage is eerily similar to Davante Adams. He also is not a fast guy. Davante's not
huge. This could be huge for you when they.
I'm telling you, it looks ugly right now, even though I am 3-1. But second half of the year, Devontae Smith is going to get back healthy, right? He had a concussion, so he'll get by.
These 3 guys.
Yeah, Montgomery just continues to fucking score every game. Davante Adams, send him over to play with A-Raj. 12 touchdowns, second half of the season, Or maybe the Kansas City Chiefs. I don't know. Send him somewhere.
Is
Obviously,
Garrett Wilson the most disappointing fantasy player this year thus
I
far?
would say, yeah, I would say so. I would say so.
Non-injured fantasy player.
Yeah, I would think so. It's looked pretty bad. I think he's getting frustrated. I think he's frustrated with Nathaniel Hackett, who's the OC over there. He mentioned something that like every offense changes things up, and we don't show different looks at all.
Dude,
Which if you watch
I've
him,
heard this multiple times about Hackett. Like this is a trend. Remember when he was back? Was that Denver who he was with? And they
he was
were
with Denver, and then he was with Green Bay. He was with Denver. I think
Rogers likes him.
Yeah, probably because he can just dictate whatever.
Lets him run the offense.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, this is the guy. Yeah, because he just tells him what he wants to do. But I'm telling you, with Devontae getting traded, Tyreek, hopefully Tua comes back, and Devontae Smith, like I'm gonna be fine. There's gonna be some turbulence.
You got running back woes though, dude. You got running back issues.
Not really. If I start Josh Jacobs in Montgomery every week, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, actually, I guess that's okay. All right, 85-81 banter. You can
another low scoring.
It's hurting across the league. I got a little Jaleel McLaughlin rolling up there for Boss Hog.
Do that.
He's digging down deep. Oh, what a blow this was to his team, man. I hate to see that. I have Rashee Rice in another league where I'm 4-0, and it just gutted me. But that's tough. He's got his two top guys he would slip in there at running back out with Rashee Rice. Man, what a tough blow for Boss Hog and having to roll out McLaughlin. Aaron Jones, sorry, I got some background noise. Aaron Jones is due to be injured any day here, which it would be very nice for my guy over here. What's the backup in Minnesota?
Ty Chandler.
We really love, I don't actually want anyone to get hurt, but if it did, I would be happy about it. Tank Dell is going to show up. Coming off injury, didn't play last week.
I see a shootout in Houston on Sunday.
That would be sick. I actually think this is a get right game for Tank. Coming off the injury, pissed off. I don't think he's eclipsed more than like 6 points. Okay, 8.7.
Yeah, I think shootout. He's had a few like potential touchdowns that just haven't quite connected.
Yep.
He could potentially have a breakout game. I think it's going to be the high 20s, low 30s kind of game. Like you said, Josh Allen. I'm a little nervous. I think he might have himself a day.
Am I missing something here? Is Taylor not playing?
Yeah. They reported this morning that he's likely to miss time. Same with Brian Robinson. And it looks like he has both of them on the bench right now. Preliminary. Now I guess theoretically they could both play. Jonathan Taylor looking more so that he's not going to play. I think Robinson was kind of a recent pop-up, so he's probably more of a 50-50 guy, but I think Jonathan Taylor's pretty much out.
I tried to send this guy trade requests, so he had conviction. I'll tell you this in our discussion, he had conviction about this man right here. Yeah. Let's see it this week.
And to have the depth to have those two guys that we just mentioned, plus you got King Henry.
That's what I said. His running back depth is phenomenal. That's the whole reason I was trying to go just.
Wearson's got a good team, man.
Get one of those.
Wearson's got a good team, and you think with old Rashee Rice being out, like Kelsey is getting it. They're gonna have to be like, Kelsey, I know you've just been chilling for the last few weeks, but like we got to get you going because we need somebody out there. And so maybe he comes out.
Wan'Dale Robinson, great little flex play. He's not going to go off, but he's going to give you like 10 points. He's going to have like
I saw a tweet
catches for 44 yards.
Yeah, I saw a tweet this morning that because Malik Neighbors might not play, it was like, oh, Malik Neighbors not playing. Wan'Dale Robinson's going to have 35 catches for 47 yards. Phenomenal. That's what he does.
Well, let's just see what's his max yardage, 71.
Yeah, he had 71 yards last week, and I'm pretty sure he had 11 catches.
You gotta look, he's pretty freaking consistent. You can bet anywhere from 8 to 12 points from this guy. It's what you need.
He just gets peppered. He just gets peppered with like 2-yard targets.
You're happy with that flex? You're happy with that flex play. But so I think that about wraps us up for week 5 here. This is where we get into the weeds. This is where championship teams are made, is in bye weeks and injuries. Make it happen. Make the plays. Little Max, go and try and keep making those trades, which are just going to use as toilet paper.
Drip, drip, drip.
I'm telling you, Schmig might actually give into that strategy. That's actually a chance that could happen.
Somebody's gonna do it, dude. It works 90% of the time, every time.
But well, boys, best of luck to everyone this week. Go get them. Week 5. Let's go Texans.
Hey, real quick, Kaisers. I know Jacob watches it. I think Johnny does too. You need to come get on the pod. I don't know how many more times to ask. Let us know when you want to come on, preferably the morning. We need to get you on as the winners of last
Johnny
year.
Kais is a late night owl, I think, though. I think Johnny Kais.
I can do late night. I can do like a 9:30 film session as well. 10 o'clock film session if we need to push it back. Johnny K's probably 3 movies in at that point. Big late night movie guy. But let's get you on the pod, man.
Yeah.
You guys didn't go on last year. You won the chip. We need to give you a few minutes to kind of gloat.
It's not like Johnny Kais is busy. The dude's freaking just living the life, going up in the mountains, playing golf every day. Like, dude, give us spare the little guys some time.
Golfer. Johnny K's just living the life right now.
Give us 30 minutes outside the golf course. That's all we're asking.
All we're asking.
But all right, gents, best of luck this week in week 5. Peace.